swear, the things I do to make YouTube videos for nothing. It's not for nothing though. It's really not. I was actually just watching one of my old videos from 2 years ago, and it had some lot of valid points in it. And I was like talking to myself, and I was like, hey, I had some points back then. Made me think about a lot of stuff. So this is why I make videos. This is why I make YouTube videos, is because sometimes I don't just do it for views from people. It's kind of like an open diary. I've actually thought about calling these diaries instead of just calling it vlogging, because it's a visual diary that people get to see and come along with me if they want to, if they're going through something. And it's also something that I can like flip back on and be like, if I'm going through a hard time. I like doing that from time to time too. Who cares? So I wanted to talk about something that I've been thinking about the past couple of months. Something that I've always didn't really even realize that I was struggling with, something that I didn't even see that I was doing. So when we are, how do I put this? When you are in a relationship with somebody, or like friendship, marriage, dating, things like that, and it's long term, like I'm talking years and years and years and years, or you were around a family and it was long term, years and years and years and years, there is this thing that I know I'm probably not the only one that struggles with this. It kind of goes hand in hand with boundaries. For many years, I never realized and never thought about this. When you are in a relationship, or you're friends with somebody, or you're around somebody for a long term time, you are going to have a lot of memories with that situation or person. You're going to have a lot of memories and valuable lessons that you learned and things that you went through at that time. So when that situation or that relationship comes to an end, that's where it starts to get tricky. My first relationship / first marriage that I had was very multi-dimensional. It was not just a marriage and a relationship. It was also, he was my best friend. We went through a lot, and we went through a lot of stuff. We grew as people together. We went through our early 20s all the way into almost our 30s. And through that phase, we just went through, or through those years, we went through a lot of changes together, and we ended up having to figure out who we were as people. And a lot of things happened, a lot of things, which all relationships do, all marriages, all friendships, things like that. A lot of things happen. But obviously, as we all know how it happens, when you are in a relationship, long term or marriage, sometimes they end. And the reason why a majority of those things end is because one of the people in the relationship start to outgrow the other one, and they start to just grow apart. You're just not the same person that you were when you met that person. You don't have the same views and opinions anymore. And after a while, it can start to just feel like you're being fake for that person, and you're not really being your authentic self, and you're not growing, and you're stunting your own growth because you want to stay in the comforts of that relationship, whatever relationship it is. And as much as sometimes as we try to really, really hold on to that relationship as much as we can and make excuses for it and deny ourselves and our growth, it never usually stays. It ends. With me, after that relationship had ended, because like I said, it was so multidimensional, I had a really, really hard time cutting ties, like snippety snip. Like, I never really understood the concept of when a relationship ends, or a friendship or whatever, in this case it was a relationship, that it's over. That I never really understood, period, end. In my heart, because I have such a huge heart, I always continued to keep trying to find a way to hold on. The bad part was that I was holding on to barbed wire. I was hurting myself a lot. as the years were passing. I was already in a new relationship. I already had, my phone is sliding. I already had my own, 2 sons with my daughter. I still have my daughter, obviously. But I had, 2 sons. I had a whole entire different situation going on. But in the background of my heart, I was still holding on to trying to keep my ex in my life. I kept thinking in my mind that I don't know why I'm doing this, that I had to, if that makes any sense. I thought in my heart and in my mind, I had to keep him in my life, like I owed him something. The reality is, we don't. I don't. I don't owe him anything. When that relationship ended, or like I said, any relationship ends, it's over. You don't have to continue to keep pining after it. You don't have to keep apologizing for things. You don't have to continue to keep living your whole entire life around the period end of that relationship. It ended. And it was a mutual agreement. So when both parties mutually agree to end that relationship or that marriage or whatever, you don't have to continue to keep holding on to that person because you feel as if you have to. I guess for me, it was just a lack of boundaries, and that's probably what it is. It is a lack of boundaries. I have a really bad cowlick going on right now. My hair is bad, you guys. I didn't understand boundaries. I don't, probably still to this day, I don't. And now at the age of 38, that was one thing that I had to really come to terms with of what I was doing to myself, that I was hurting myself because I'm holding on to people. It's not just my past relationship, it's people in general. There's a lot of people in my life that I hold on to because I think I have to, or that I don't really know what I think. I don't really know. Maybe it's just from pure loneliness. It might just be a fear that I have of being alone, and I'm not. That's the thing. The other thing that I realized too was that I was putting a lot more effort into holding on to my past, than I was putting in the work to wake up to my future and be around my future. Life in general, my kids, my husband, my life. And I was so focused on the past and trying to bring the past back and trying to hold on to the past that I wasn't also just not even figuring out that I was having this kind of minor depression of anytime these people would come back around me, it was like an old stagnant energy from my past that would come around, and I would just be like, ugh. It would just bring me back down again. And also, I was hurting myself because these people that I was crucially holding on to, making it very crystal clear that they have no intentions or wants to be around me. Which therein is back to what I said, is that back to boundaries. I didn't understand that when a relationship or friendship or whatever is over, it's over. And that stems back probably from my childhood. I have always been desperate for friends. I remember one time, story time, here we go. I remember one time I was in kindergarten. This is when it started. I was in kindergarten. This was the day it started. I had a girl that was in my class. I think it was like literally the first day of school. Might have been the second. And I remember she was sitting in front of me. She was really pretty. She had really long brown hair. It was the same as mine. She had it in a braid. I think mine was just down. But I noticed she had the same hair as me. And I was like, oh, cool. I was a country girl, so I didn't really understand social cues and things like that. So I looked at her. Her name was Brandy. I'll never forget it. Her name was Brandy. And I asked her in my very kindergarten way, because we were in kindergarten, I asked her if she wanted to be friends. She told me no. I don't want to be your friend. That was the very first day of my little life that I realized about the world, that sometimes people just don't want to be your friend. After that happened, I am not going to get emotional during this video. I refuse. After that happened, I got really mean. I started to get really mean towards everybody, even people that wanted to be my friend, people that were trying. I remember there's a couple of girls that wanted to be my friend. They were trying really hard. I didn't believe anything anybody said anymore because I thought this is the way it is. I thought that I had to, again, I did, I remember, I tried really, 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 really hard to be friends with this girl. I was holding on to her when all these other people were around me, all these other kids were around me trying to be my friend, and possibly could have been a better future over here with these friends. But I was holding on to this girl that bluntly said to me, I do not want to be your friend. As an adult, it's the same. I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's what I always say, and it's the truth. When I like someone or I get attached to somebody, I guess that's what we'll say, I have a really hard time when it's time to let go or it's time to just realize it's not going to happen. I have a really hard time letting people go. And now at the age of 38 years later, that this is a problem. It cripples my actual life. It cripples the people that want me in their life. It cripples my relationships with them. That the people that are meant to be in my life, the people that want and they enjoy my presence and they enjoy me and they love me, it cripples my relationships with these people. And I'm always chasing after the wrong people. We are not obligated, and I'm speaking to myself, we are not obligated to keep people in our lives from our past. We don't have to. Letting that person in my life, like hanging out, giving away private information, talking about things in my life, things that are happening, hanging out, like I said, hanging out, just being around me is not an obligation that I have to have. And that is something that I have to understand up here and something that I have a hard time letting go of. I think that I might have a personality disorder, possibly. I really don't know who I am because of this. I kind of that's a weather term. I build myself and I build my personality off of other people. So 2025 has been a year of a lot of things. But one of the things I'm saying for 6 months in was that I really need to learn how to pay attention to the people in my life that are here and how to learn to let go of the past. I don't know how to initiate boundaries when it comes to anybody in my life. I am a very open heart person. I'm very open when it comes to anybody. I will let a stranger on the street just tell me their whole life story, and I will take a person in off the street. And like I said, in the end, it has got me into really bad situations. The stupid phone keeps trying to fall. To wrap this video up, you do not have to hold on to your past for the sake of holding on to your past. We don't owe anything to our past. I don't owe anything to my past anymore. I don't. When that period is down and that railroad crossing comes down, that's it. It's over. That chapter is closed. Now it's time to open up and take the new book off the shelf and focus on the next chapter of your life. And I haven't been doing that. I've been looking at an old dusty book forever. I don't read this dusty book anymore. As my kids would say, the dusty, musty, crusty book. I don't want to. So I want to put more of my energy into my kids, into my husband, into my life, into present state. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about this today. I wanted to really make this video. I have a baby mama. My feet are numb, you guys. Ugh. Why didn't I just sit on the couch for this video? I have a mama, Robin, and she made a nest up in the corner of our roof over here. She is so cute. And like I'm not sure, but I think her babies are already born. But there's a mama and daddy. And the daddy will sit on the branch and watch the nest. It's so cute. It's adorable.